Well, welcome to it, guys. Chronicles of Motion and Bikecraft Performance and Steve Saunders and Jeremy Martins. We're going to be talking all the action that happened, the big main action that happened in the Cape Town Cycle Tour 2026 edition. A super exciting race day. But before that, Jeremy, how are you?
Steve, always cool. Literally cool. My side of town.
I
I think
see.
I see spring has bypassed us. We've gone straight to summer, boom, into winter. It's
It did.
challenging this side of town.
It was shocking, rather shocking to suddenly have that. Although I must admit, I'm able to wear my long jean pant now instead of my short jean pant. Quite exciting to be able to do that and walk around and not be in a ball of sweat all the time. I'm looking forward to this winter. I believe everyone else is absolutely hating it.
Yeah. Oh well, it is what it is. No such thing as good or bad weather, just good or bad clothing.
Clothing, exactly. And how's the training going? How's all that running? Comrades preparation, massive miles. All the notes you send me on WhatsApp are all from a little voice note, 15 or 18 kilometers into a 30-kilometer run.
Steve, we are, and to quote Lindsay Perry, the Comrades coach, we are now in Comrades training. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's between 75 and 85 Ks a week now for this month. Very lacquer, just managing all those little niggles. But yeah, it's good getting into the rhythm of it and having been active again.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit more active. Decided to get back into the gym on, I think it was Monday. It wasn't a good idea. Today's ride, I survived, but I survived by, it looked like I'd been shot in the legs the way I was hobbling around. And yeah, it was a little bit too much for me. I'm not a hardcore athlete though. I'm definitely the fair weather, middle of the
What,
line, recover lots.
how many Ks you get in yesterday?
95 with
Oh,
Cam, one of my training friends I get to go and ride with on usually a Tuesday or a Wednesday. She'll send me a message depending on when her hair appointment is or what her husband's doing. And then she'll say, hey, we can go riding at 6 a.m. on Tuesday. And I go, legend, let's do it. I was wearing a gilet yesterday, but I was regretting not wearing the arm warmers. It was rather fresh yesterday, but I did get the whole 95, I think 97 kilometers on a Tuesday.
that's far. That's far. That's
That
far.
and two coffees at Beat on Bistro. Those got consumed as well. Anyway, Jeremy, let's get on to it. You were actually mentioning to me earlier how cool it is with all the coverage that we're getting on cycling. And
Yeah,
you rattled
yeah.
off a few different names. I think I'm going to say, well, the coverage we're going to refer to today from the live stream, which we're going to bring into this conversation shortly, I thought it was pretty brilliant. So there was points where, yeah, you wanted to see something else, but that happens in every single sport. I mean, Tour de France coverage has that. So the guys did an incredible job. And the point we're going to start with, I mean, if it's not one of those iconic scenic moments, it's like, I don't know what is. But yeah, their coverage was good. And then you had a couple of others to mention.
Yeah, it's lucky to see that Dave Jenkins down in the Cape with his podcast down there were the Active Hobo. They seem to be doing a lot.
Yeah.
Very, very good stuff. Like I said to you before you came on, I think with what's happening now, there's probably more coverage about cycling, road cycling and mountain biking. The races, the detail that we go into, and the personalities and the people. I think if you backtrack good couple of years, you had the super cycling show, which is now turned into Cadence. And from the South African side, that pretty much was it. You had a lot of the teams putting out their own content, but their content is their content, and it's be based towards them. I think there's a lot more that's done now from a neutral perspective. What we do, Dave's coming in, Kent and Ryan has started something which I think is also quite accurate. We're going to get a different perspective of what goes on, and I think it's like that. There's more happening, which is cool.
Yeah, no, it's been, I think it's really good to see all of this coverage coming through, and we're starting to get to know the people, the athletes in the races as well. That makes a big difference in what you're cheering on. I've always said in the past, over the last 6 or 7 years, it's sort of what was missing is that you couldn't really relate. And if you ask an average cyclist out there, Melissa Kretzinger, she's an amazing cyclist. I go, who?
Who?
And you go, God, do you not know Melissa Kritzinger? She's amazing as a bike rider and as a person, but she's such a quiet person, and there's no coverage out there for them to get that exposure. And now we have the opportunity for people to cheer athletes on. Lisa Bone getting that. I mean, she's been so good over the last couple of years anyway, but winning this one just boosted her image out to people that wouldn't have known her otherwise. They may have heard her name.
Yeah.
They may not have seen what she looks like. Now, when they see her, they're going to go, "That's Lisa Bone." Which is awesome. I love it. It's a bit of hero worship. And I suppose actually that's what you and I do. We're always talking about the athletes. We're talking about the competition, the inter-athlete rivalry, the tactics and all of that. And yeah, it's beautiful. And we're going to be able to do that now. We weren't the commentators at the on the live stream. I've got to say a chapeau to Gerald de Kock, our dad of cycling. I say that as a good term. He's incredible what he does. Putting it together with Cherise Villett, who, well, what more can you say about Cherise? That lady has raced everything at the highest level. I mean, she's getting ready for Absa Cape Epic at the moment. She was on the live stream. I can bet she was just itching to get out there and race because she's won this race before. And Javier Kruger. Yeah, they bring a nice dynamic to it and lots of interest going on. The videographer's doing a good job. Producer's doing a good job covering 2 races at the same time, which is, Jeremy, we've only had to cover 1 race. And even that has been hard at times, trying to get backwards and forwards with the producer. So well done to them. Anyway, should we get on with it?
Let's jump in.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with all of you guys, and I'm going to start the coverage. Jeremy, I'm gonna leave a bit of the volume in the background running. Here's the comments again. So
Candice,
you can see this point. I mean, this is a funny point of the race.
Halfway and putting on the pressure.
That really is at that point there. That's where you're going to start Jackie's problem. So this is the ladies leading bunch.
A rider like Tyler Jacobs,
we can see a couple of different stripes, a couple of different colors of kit here, and it was a solid, hard race. This is Tyler Jacobs sitting at the back with the SA Champs jersey on because she won that a few weeks ago, and she's doing the same thing. She's sitting there surfing the wheels, following the mood. She is the youngster group. And on the other side, we then got the breakaway in the men's race that had been away for a while. So, Jeremy, why don't you give us a little bit of a rundown of what had been happening? I'm going to say we leave the ladies' race for now. We're going to watch that coverage. It's going to cross over to the men's race. We got 3 in the breakaway. There have been multiple attacks throughout the day. This one was the one that stuck. I believe originally 6 riders.
As the riders went onto the blue route, the racing men, there was a group of 6 that eventually got away. You had Daniel Loubser. I thought about it on Sunday. He's like the Jackie Durand of cycling in South Africa. Always in the break, always driving, always looking for something. Another brilliant performance. Fortunately, the break didn't stick. One day he will get into it, and the break will stick. Had one for sure. Previous winner of this race. He's won pretty much everything in South Africa. Needs no more introduction. Then there was Wynand Hofmeyer representing Team assert Cycling. Yeah, he was there pleasing the move for his team. Then there was Carl Bontes, I believe he got into the break, and then also, unfortunately for him, he had a bit of mechanical, so he had to stop, get out the break. Then there was JP Lloyd. JP Lloyd's just a dangerous rider. He's been dominating over the last year or so at the Killarney. Very fast man. He's won a couple of big races in South Africa over the years. Then there was also Keenan Ruitt from Team Cycle Collective. He was there policing the move. Then Nia Smith-Vinkel, JP and Keenan, they lost contact with the main split. Coming into Ocean View, had one for sheer. He picked up mechanical, dropped his chain, and then he had to stop and get the chain back on his bike. Then he was out of it. And then
the trio leading there is 1 minute 10
point. You can see
isn't that far,
those 2 riders are
too big.
So that's I'm going to go forward on the coverage just now to catch up to your commentary. I just want to show on the left side of the screen is the elite woman, and it was, I believe, a fair amount of the pacing being done up there was Candice Lill pushing hard and trying to cause some damage. Candice amazing
the
rider.
summit
She's got that
of
ability to race
Champions
elbow
Peak
to
on
elbow.
the
She needs
women's race,
everything to
78
be
kilometres. They
like
started
psychotically
in
difficult
Fishhook
to
and we're
ride,
getting
and then
down
she
towards
shines.
the business end of this race
Steve,
now.
can you just turn
Champions Peak,
Gerald
first
down there? I'm battling
of
to
the
hear
two
anything else over above what
challenges
Dad's saying.
towards
Now is it better? Sounds off completely.
Yeah, sounds like completely. I could hardly hear. Dad was in shock there.
Super excited. So on the ladies race, you can see the pacing starting to get set there, and yeah, how fast they start heading up there. Candice Lill on the front, she's putting the hammer down. It looks like they're riding a flat road, and you know this isn't a flat road. This is getting to the the false horizon the first time, and then you get the second one where you go over the top proper. Kate Courtney sitting in second place. You can see the shattering happening at the moment.
Yeah.
Tyler Jacobs having to close the gap. Lucy Young.
I was really surprised to see. I was really surprised to see Vera in this position at this climb, because I mean she's always in the front of the race, and for her to be under a bit of pressure there, I was a bit surprised to see that.
But you can also see how hard Candice Lill is pacing up here. I mean, the pressure is on. When a rider sits 2 wheel lengths off the back of the group, they're not sitting there because they want to. This is Sonika Klopper at the back here. She was in that massive breakaway at SA Champs. And Tyler Jacobs finding herself having to do some work to try and close the gap. She will get herself back in there with that descending skills. But as Kate Courtney has seen the opportunity, she goes to the front. She says, brilliant work, Candice. We'll keep that going. And she starts to close that gap down again. And she looks around and sees no one else is willing to do it. And it starts to pull back together.
We saw this for both the men's and the women's race. There was a definite pull towards the top of Chapman's Peak. And then as they crested the ascent and they started the descent, there's a long open straight, and it seemed to be a block headwind there. And in the men's race and the women's race, the riders that were just off over the back, they managed to ride themselves back in. So as you can see there, Tyler, they just got back on at the end of that long straight section.
Yeah, but you can see the difference, and we know what the race is like. It really is a race of 2 halves. The first half is typically all the breakaways and everything else, and that is getting up until you hit basically the bottom of small chappies, and from there on, those that have got the legs and the proper racing, that's where the real racing starts. And we see it in the men's race as well. We see the breakaway getting pulled back dramatically. There were some extra factors in there. You know, would they have survived if they had 3, or would, you know, what would have happened otherwise? Again, how well, I mean, Fly Cool Collective in the men's race, they just came together as a team and they were incredible. They sort of remind me of the days of when we used to get the Norwegian teams coming out to South Africa, and they would put 10 riders on the front and just absolutely decimate the race. But the ladies here, it's, you know, every single one of those ladies in that bunch are world level bike riders. Here's one of the top triathletes, Magda Nieuwoudt, who's also up there and properly animating the race. I believe she was in multiple breakaways as well. And you can see the speed they're going at. I think it's, you know, one of the other things I think is really cool, Jeremy, is the 70-kilometer distance for the ladies, separating their race completely from the men, so that they have the opportunity to race strategically and actively. And see Candice Lill on the back here.
Let's just interject here. Funny enough, you and I both know why there is a separate race and why they do a shorter race. But I think we just need to clarify here why that is. Over the years and decades, elite racing men, the fast guys, they started first, and they don't have any traffic that gets in the way. Then the elite racing women, they would inevitably have started within a group that there are men.
Yeah.
And then as the race would progress, the men would interfere with the women's race. And there were a couple of incidences where riders could have won, but the men changed the dynamic of the race. So it was a couple of years ago, they actually decided to eliminate that any guesswork, so that the women start in Simonstown, which is about, no, it's before Simonstown. Yeah. So they're cutting out the first 38 kilometers of the race, and they're starting at a very similar time to what the elite racing men are. So they've got a clear shot at the race, and no one can interfere or get in the way with their individual race. Yeah, so that's, like I said, after the event, I've had a few people actually asking me why the women race shorter. That's the reason why.
Yeah, so I'm just going back to this live stream, how cool it is for us to be able to see this. I mean, they've got the total times running for both of the races, 1:28 for the women at this point, 1:33 for the men. they're still way back on the course. They've got to get over through Ocean View at this point in time. But we'll cut across, and I'm going to go forward a little bit shortly. The ladies' race seems to almost go to a little bit of a easing of the pressure. The attacks aren't as flat out. Back on the front is our mountain biker. She does a lot of work today. Strategically, was it the right thing to do? Was she there to help someone else? Did she have her own plans in mind? Did she just not want it to slow down? Was there someone who was off the back that she didn't want to get back? I don't know what it was, but you can see them talking to each other. Kate Courtney was incredible. The next big move that happens is Kate Courtney going up Suikerbossie. She puts in an attack that looks like it should be the start of a thrashing rock song. It was so aggressive. And she opened the gap over the top there. And if you're going to be on your own with a group chasing, it's unlikely to survive the whole way down. Oh, you see them drifting out.
Actually, going to give it to when you're watching this race at the bottom of Chapman's Peak,
which is where we're getting to. We're almost there now, yeah.
Heavy Preach. She put in a massive attack, and she actually really stretched the bunch out. And then from there on that's when you was good if Candaceville went to front. They just drove the screws a bit tighter. But
you can also see this.
Heidi comes from a strong racing background. She understands the importance of kicking and getting that gap. Whereas I felt like the mountain bikers, they didn't really accelerate as much, and they just kind of drove it and tried to eliminate everybody else. As kind of pretty much what you would do in an XCO marathon race. Where it's not so much a vicious attack as it is a wearing down process.
Yeah, it's just tightening the screws all the time. So they cut across at this point to the leading breakaway. You mentioned the 6 that were there originally, but by the time they got over the far end of the circuit and heading back through Ocean View, we now got 3 riders, and I'm going to see if I can get ahead to where we see this was just before Ocean View. Okay, I'm gonna cut across to this point. I think at this point, Hammond Fashia has had his mechanical already, and we've now got on the front a team with orange and white kit. There we go. So it is down to the 2. Hammond with that. I thought it was a puncture. You said it was a drop chain.
Yeah.
Drop chain, and that took him out of the mix, and it massively, by 1/3, reduced the firepower of this breakaway group. They're having to deal with a whole bunch of guys behind. They've been away for a long time, and it doesn't matter how strong you are. When you got a team of 8 riders dedicated to one rider, willing to bury themselves, I didn't see this lasting. By the way, my watching of this on Sunday was at Beat on Bistro out in the cradle. Got our cell phones out, we put it on the table, we had coffee, it was cold. We were in the corner, and we watched this live stream off my phone, and it was amazing to hear the commentary, to see the pictures, to see the riders, to see the effort going on. How many times did they mention Wynand saying hello to everyone on the side of the route? Obviously he's a local, so both of these riders are locals. But yeah, it's amazing to see. So this is the point where the team tactics start to play in, and we see this in the big European races where there's massively paid individuals whose jobs it is just to keep the bunches under control. Some of those domestiques are paid proper money because they'll do a solid job. And we're going to see this team of Fly Cool Collective shortly on the front doing the work that they do. Let's cut across to this point. Look at that. What a shot. They're coming up to the turn now. So this is Norduk, and there's a shopping center on the left-hand side. They're going to be taking.
You could see going into the race, the guys, they had their own plan, and they pretty much stuck to it. That break went away. Keenan was in it, but all the visuals and images that I got to saw, the feedback that I got, they kept their cool heads. They rode within themselves. The break never got more than 90 seconds, so it was never too much of a threat. And with the break going up the road like this, it kind of almost neutralizes the race in the back, because there's no real big accelerations or big dangerous points. The big dangerous points where accelerations going to come is going to be on Chapman's Peak. But up to that section, you've got like I say it's easy in the group, and easy in the sense
It's
that there's no real acceleration. Like, look at them
yeah,
here; they took control.
yeah.
They were riding for a big lead out
This
for the bottom of
this
Champions Peak,
youngster,
and everyone
this
that was there, they had their job and they did it.
uh, Mr. Nieuwoudt on the front there. I mean, he's been incredible as well. He's capable of winning races on his own. Keenan Rudd behind him. Keenan's a little bit on his limit, but they're an amazing team. They've got a cool vibe, a good energy. They're willing to work hard, and they got the confidence with it as well. Because, like you said, it's deceptively, and it's a hard race. It's a fun race. You can see the picture now on the left hand side. This is where Kate Courtney's made her attack. They actually, social media put out the real attack when she went, and she caused chaos with that attack. She goes over the top here of Suikerbossie. But going back to Fly Cool Collective, it was, they were properly committed with this confidence and game plan that they had in mind. They knew they could let that little break go away up the road. They knew that it was going to be a problem when it hit the big climbs, and they had the legs and they had the firepower. And when you see, by the time Kent Main gets on, the main train takes over, that's where that bunch got really shattered. Back across to Kate Courtney, she was amazing in this race. And I was thinking she was going to be the winner. I was hoping it would be a South African that would see some recognition from it in the local scene, because an international rider isn't really going to get massive exposure from this. I mean, it's our world champs. But for the Europeans and the Americans, is it, that important to them? But Kate
Steve,
Courtney
I'm actually I'm going to jump in here, and maybe
look at
anyone
that.
who's watching this can refresh me, because I can't recall any rider that has attacked on Suikerbossie that has stayed away to the finish. Solo rider,
Yeah,
there's always attacks, also split up. The only one that I think I can remember was Michael Anderson, and that was probably like 1996.
that's
He was
exactly,
fresh off the report to a win. He just won the Giro del Capo. He went up Suikerbossie at 50k an hour. I'm just saying. And
yeah,
if memory serves me correctly, I think he was caught by Vinokurov and Malcolm.
yeah,
If
yeah.
if memory serves me correctly.
And you look at the times they did. I mean, it was a little bit of a different route because they finished much earlier. We
Finished in Camps Bay,
in Camps Bay. But I think the timing on that one, I rode that race, and I remember sitting in the bunch thinking, what the hell? His team was on the front and going so hard that they still had the unconventional category at that stage. So the guys in the recumbents, and we were catching recumbents at a rate of knots, and that's unheard of. Those legs on the recumbents were flying.
Yeah.
But were they going fast? And it was, I think they finished like a 2:15 or 2:10 or something like. Oh, crash as the riders go down.
There was a crash there.
Mm.
This is another shit day for Mark Pritz and unfortunately Honeycomb guys. Nichols coming the descent of Switzerland chain drop, busted his bike there. He had to get a bike from a teammate. I think all in all for the Honeycomb Oaks, had one in the break, drops the chain. Mark
So-
down the back of Spitzwinkle, shit luck. Here, he caught up in a crash.
This is the start for those who haven't written it. This is the start of the small chappies climb. So there's two parts to chappies. Jeremy, you've done this over and over. I mean, you grew up in Cape Town, so you know the area. There we go. They start the climb. They go through the little the toll booth section shortly, and then it's on. You can go flat out in that first little section of the uphill, but it's long enough that it's going to cause some pain, and you need to actually settle down. And I think this is a point where most of the groups actually shatter. They can't keep that pressure on at the level they need to, especially if the legs have already been worn down.
And if you look on the left hand screen there, the elite women's race.
It's aggressive.
Was it at that point? I think Tiffany Keep was still off, or was she back in? They couldn't see, but she obviously got distance going up Suikerbossie. She got distance going up Chapman's Peak, but speaking to a few guys, she something similar thing happened at the EP Herald, and she got herself back every time, and she ended up winning that race. So
if you talk
she
about,
was kind of flirty with.
the
She was kind of
resilience of a
flirting with
rider.
danger today, but yeah, she got back, and when she got back, I thought, oh, she's going to be good, difficult to beat today.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see Haley on the front. She was working hard as well. I didn't hear any of the interviews from Haley, and I think she would have been a little bit disappointed not to have got a better result out of this one. You know, she was disappointed at SA Champs, having a frustrating start to the year, but at least there's no major crashes happening for her. We cross back over to the men's race. Fernand Hofmeyer on the front. Fernand and the ASEP team spending a good couple of weeks last year in Europe racing. Fernand's first time I got to mention his name, by the way, was at one of the Woolies triathlons. Called him up for a win, so he can run and swim as well. A phenomenal youngster. Well, he's actually more senior than most of the youngsters nowadays. Dan Lobster as well. Jared Hay, they had a 40-second gap at that point at the bottom. I mean, you could tell a 40 second. You need about, but yeah, what would you think? Maybe 2 minutes at the bottom of that climb to be able to get over the climb?
If you wanted to stay away over Suikerbossie, you need at least 3 minutes at the bottom of Suikerbossie. Sorry, the 3 minutes at the bottom of Chapman's Peak, if you want to make it over the top of Suikerbossie, because like I said earlier, when the break goes, they will run to get their time gap, and then in the main group it's easy because inevitably a team will control, and it's not too surgy. You can sit in the group and recover, and then you must know that when you get to Little Chapman's Peak and Big Chapman's Peak, then it's time to unleash. And we're going to see how it works just here.
Even I mean, you can attest to this from your experience of racing over the years. To sit in the bunch is, if you're fit, obviously you got to be a good rider to be able to do this, but you can sit the wheel and get the slipstream going up that climb, particularly the bottom end. So guys are going to take the right hand turn shortly, and then they're going to see chappies ahead of them proper. And at that point, it's still fast moving. Those two are probably doing a good 48 k's an hour.
Plus.
Yeah, well, they finished their Daniel
quickly.
Yeah, they're going to go around the corner, depending on the wind conditions at that moment. And there's the bunch. And in the bunch, the guys are sitting wheels. They're getting pulled along to that point. So they're going to be fresh. Those legs, when I say fresh, they've been working hard the whole time. But we're going to see this big difference come out. And the amazing thing for me, and I'm going to say to everyone watching this, watch how Ryan Gibbons handles himself. His confidence levels, I thought he was being cocky. He proved me wrong. This is a point where the guys are going to take the right bend, and it then opens up, and ahead of them is the climb proper. So this isn't an ideal point. Look at that scenery. Is that not the most incredible scenery ever? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there's chappies in the distance. You can see it going up the side of the hill, and it's the gradient on there. Like I say, for those top guys, it's not that steep. It's steep. It's going to hurt, but Dan Lopes is now hitting a little bit of the gradient. They start going under the overhang areas, and you see them get out the saddle. That's the point. Bunch is hunting them down. That bunch is strung out a little bit. Already 1 or 2 riders had been dropped on little chappies. And the crashes and things like that had happened also caused a little bit of chaos. Yeah, it's probably another good thing that Fly Cool Collective did was go to the front, take charge. It did 2 things. 1, they took charge of the race, and 2, it took them out of the bunch. Can you imagine if
safe and control? Yeah.
Yep.
You got no bike, you got no guys next to you, no guys chopping your wheels. It's just you and your team in a straight line. So it's nice and controlled.
Yeah, there goes Fernand Hofmeyer. He decides he's going to keep on trying. So Big Blade, he's hammering it up there. I think he's a proper class rider, this guy. He changes it to the small blade now, and you can tell, Jeremy, it's getting steep at this point. You can't hold the pace. Kent Main, when you see him just now, there's Kent waiting to go.
Warren Mormon pulling on the front. You can see they're using this as like Warren. This is the lead out for him.
Yeah, look how quickly they've closed that gap. I mean, Kent is, it gives me goosebumps when I watch this because he's an incredible teammate. He's a man who could have ridden this thing. If he had gone in the breakaway, he probably would have been the engine to be able to keep that breakaway to the finish line type of thing. Feyenoord doing an incredible ride, but he's just he's not going to have it. It's just, there's no chance that you're going to be able to be that strong on your own in the wind when you've got a team like Fly Cool Collective there. All right,
You can
77 guys.
You can see at that moment, Bernard looked back. I think he's keeping on going here because he's trying to get as close as possible to the top of the climb in the
Yeah.
group, so that when he crests the top, he's still within that front elite racing
And
split, and he can still
skint
play
on
a
the-
part to help his team leader for the day, Tyler Langes. You know, a guy like Dan Lobsher, he was all in the break. If it doesn't work, well, then he's going to pop out the back. His job is done. But a guy like Wynand, I think he's got two jobs to fulfill here. Try and get in the brake, control it, and then try and make sure you get as close as you can to the top before the group catches you.
Yeah. So here's Ken Main on the front, and this is the point where Kent just goes into that mode. His head drops a little bit. He bends those arms, a little bit of an arch in the upper back, and he just drives the power. We saw Tyler Lange sitting in sixth wheel. He was looking pretty comfortable. There he is. So I can see him to the left-hand side now. And that bunch starting to get strung out. You can see the effect. The gaps are starting to open. You can see the desperation in some of the riders as they're trying to figure out, do I go into the big blade? Do I stay in the small blade? The heart rate's at max, the breathing's through the roof. There's the gaps opening. Now you can see the problems occurring. The guys are starting to struggle. Now, interesting there, you saw the man who would have been in the final breakaway just to the right there. He's looking confident as well. And we'll see that mood happen shortly. Here we go.
I think you just watching this ride going into this, I had a very good idea that Sasha Weber was going to be good and really on top form for the day. I think the way he rode on Chapman's Peak, they're sitting third, fourth wheel comfortably. I was like,
look at that.
This man is definitely a good day today. Oh, that's what, 25, 30 guys max.
Yeah, and there's little gaps opening up. Ryan, straight away at the top of that one, he put in a little effort and then pulled across, said to the guys, come on. You could see his confidence. It's, a rider who's not confident is going to go to the front, worry that they're not doing enough work, and bury themselves too deep. Whereas a confident rider is going to go, okay, I'll do a little bit, no problem. And then they'll pull across, look at the other guys and say, come on, guys, let's do some work. Because they know any counter-attack's not going to cause problems for them. Johan Fourie de Villiers there in the Chronicles kit. How's he? He's on a gravel bike that he borrowed with road wheels.
Okay.
He's won SA Cups, XCOs, and he's won Trail Seeker events, a phenomenal mountain biker from the Free State, the Vrystaat. I think he's Vrystaat, but he's on the corner of Vrystaat, Northwest and Gauteng. A brilliant youngster. But look at that gap. I mean, the difference when the guys at the front there, those gaps open up into the wind. And like you said, it looked like a little bit of a headwind there, but geez, the speed they went around here. And you can see one of the corners. You were talking about this.
Felix clearly trying something there on the DC.
Yeah. I think
Steve,
it's now
the fact,
on the corner and he has to hop onto the pavement because he just overcooks it. He just goes into it too fast.
I think given this descent and the nature of this descent, and given what the guys did going down here, it must have been a buffeting through the corners because Ryan gassed it a bit over the top. Felix tried to go here. And the reason you got guys like that doing moves like that is because they can sense there is an opportunity here. Put the pressure on the corners, and we'll see later on down the descent what that actually did.
Yeah.
The guys are the fact that these guys are trying these moves in this particular section of the race shows that there were opportunities and the guys are looking to split things up. They're not always just waiting. Okay, we've got Suikerbossie now. If you're a good rider, you go, okay, well, I'm going to unleash hell. If you're an average rider, go, oh my God, I'm going to try and hang on for as long as I can. And if you're a rider that's 50-50, whether you're there or not, you go, oh, here comes the pain. This is going to be a big effort. They're looking for moves before that point.
Is that Wynand on the front again?
Yeah. That just goes to show, like I say, he went into the move and he tried to stay near he had to stay near the front to do the team run for Tyler. So he had a double job to do on Sunday.
Yeah. So we're back across on the other side. You can see Lisa Bone on the front. They're heading now into Camps Bay. So Kate Courtney at the front, Candice Lill forever at the front doing the hard work. And this is a point now you can see behind Tiffany Keep. She's made her way back in. So you can see her there and she's shouting at the other ladies. So I assume she's trying to make sure everyone encouraging.
that's encouraging. It's rather use that word. Makes it sound so a little bit more polished.
There we go. She goes to the front, says, "Come on, ladies." And Tennille Otto on her wheel. Another danger lady. I was expecting a little bit more from the Chinolo ladies.
No, they had three in the break. They had Tennille, they had
sorry, I got to jump.
and then Sonica Klopper. Yeah. Here's Ryan gassing it.
Ryan gassing it. And look at the guys trying to get on his wheel. The speed they go around these corners. Yo. I know just me on my own trying to go around those corners at some sort of speed. It scares the living daylights out of me, and my speed is nowhere near their speed. But you can see the drifting occurring. Oh, this is the point now where, was it? No, next one. It's a right-hand turn.
I think just going back to what I said earlier, like Felix tried it, Ryan tried it. So it must have been an opportunistic moment, or opportunities presented themselves on that descent, because the wind can blow on those corners and it can get very tricky. And if you just get over the top and you go, okay, sure, yes, I'm glad I made it, and you kind of switch off, you can lose contact on the descent, which is what you don't want to be. You don't want to lose contact with the descent, because that means shit. You have to chase on the flat roads and hard bay. And you start Suikerbossie already here. You don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So I think it's good what these guys are doing.
Johan Ferry de Villiers in the Chinolo kit on his borrowed bike.
It's the next turn.
The next one it is. This one, yeah. They drift. Watch. Drift.
There we go.
Onto the pavement. How's those bike skills? Goes, okay, I'm all right. They all look at each other and say, okay, Mano, let's calm down a little bit. Let's not die. And they're going to start that last little drop down past it's the Hot Bay Hotel, isn't it?
Yeah. Steve, was it the 96 or the 95? It was called the August then. Jacques Foulard. He came a little bit too hot in one of the corners in the bottom, and he had a bit of a lie down. It was wet that day.
Was that, he was riding for Minolta then, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yes, Steve, we're giving our ages away. Yeah, we're talking about the 1996 August. Jeez, like that was, 30 years ago?
Listen, wow. Jeremy, there's a lot of these riders in that bunch you're looking at who have birthdays starting with the 2000s. In fact, a lot of them would be 2000 and something. So, you're talking ancient days. Here we go, the last little bit down. They're going to go past that. Look at the speed they're going at. Section, It is dramatic. And look at the scenery. I mean, if there's ever an event that's going to show off South Africa, not that Cape Town, South Africa, but wow, there they go past the hotel. And there's a couple of little manhole covers and things like that. There's an amazing gym in that center on the left. They've just gone past, which has scenery. Now, in the gyms I go to, the scenery is like a picture on the wall of a beach or something like that. That gym just has windows looking out on the beach of Hot Bay. So here we go. This is the front bunch, and see this group's trying to close back in. Ryan and the team from Fly Cool Collective bring things back under control. There is a little attack that's going to happen, and I think this move is about to go now. No, it's once they take this left turn, the counter move happens. Yeah. If there was a man of the match between Ken Main and Wynand Hofmeyer, I think because Ryan took the win, then maybe it's going to go to the Fly Cool team. But you can see the game plans going on. Ryan and Kent having a chat to each other. Here goes the first of the moves.
That's Sasha Weber.
Yeah, you called it earlier, and he has been super strong and super aggressive as well. Look at the speed he manages here. He's obviously been looking after himself. He's had a game plan in mind. I assume it's a game plan that he wanted to pull off. For me, strategically, is it a good idea to go up the road here? Maybe he's a little bit worried about what the pressure is going to be like going up Suikerbossie. He just wanted to get ahead so that when that pressure hits, he's going to be ahead. He can just join the group. He doesn't get blown off the back, but he's so strong.
Another way to look at it is maybe he read the race, knowing full well that on the climb, the pressure was really on. On the descent, the pressure was on. And then, maybe if you put in an attack, an area like that where it's, oaks are relaxing, you can open up a big gap because the guys are going to sit up and not really commit to it. And that's exactly what happened there. He put in a big effort, and then there was no real cohesion or commitment to close it at that point. Look at that gap.
That's massive.
20 seconds quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And then now, if you're a strong rider and you know you're in good form, if you start Suikerbossie with the 30-second gap, I know you can go up there quickly. The guys will catch you near the top, and the guys that will catch you are those are going to be the ones that are going to go into the break that have come across to you. So you've got the strong riders anyway.
Yeah.
It's just a different way of getting into the break. Maybe a little bit of a harder way. Not sneaky, tactical move.
Tactical, yeah, it could be. But you can see he now hits a big climb and his legs are going to be a bit spent from that big attack. Talking about big attacks, Sonika Klopper on the front of the elite women's race. And there's our photographers capturing their shots. She's decided she's going to do the job for the team. And, gears have gone. She slaps her bike. Something's happened there. Tiffany Keep, all calm and collected. She knows she just needs to sit the wheel. She's not going to go to the front and get exposed. She was the first to respond there. Past winner as well.
I'm a little bit surprised. You would have anticipated another move from the Tonello ladies to try and go straight after that, because they don't have a sprinter there that's going to win.
Well, so that's what my thoughts on this. Yeah, would see a Lucy riding.
Play your cards. So, no, Lucy wasn't in that front split. As far as I remember.
She didn't make it. No, and that was a problem, I think, for them. They got Tennille in there. Tennille, good sprinter on her day. And this is a job now for Sonika.
Yeah, but again, it's easy for us to sit here. You should have done this, and I would have done that. But when you're the one sitting on the saddle and your heart rate's beating into your throat, it's a very, very different perspective.
And the finish line is getting closer and closer, and it's getting more and more desperate as well. I mean, this point of the race, you're looking up the road to see where that firstly the traffic light is, 3 Anchor Bay, and then it's a sweeping left-hander. So it takes a slight right and then sweeping left-hander. And Sonika is powering along at this point. I mean, she pulled that bunch along nicely. Like I said, it's a bit like SA Champs. They didn't get the result for the amount of work and participation in the race. Kate Courtney got the result for the amount of work she did. I was really worried that she was going to win overall. I say worried, but
Steve, whenever you see a rider at a pro race with a Red Bull helmet, then you must know this isn't a wannabe play. This is the real deal.
So this is the slight right-hander, and there's Lisa Bone. She took up the perfect position in the sprint. It's going to be that sweeping left-hander ahead of them. There you can see it ahead. And if you're going to do a sprint, well, the inside line is probably going to be the best line to take. You don't want to do the long way around. Yeah, the riders like taking flyers around the outside. Look at that. It's a long way around. Tennille Otto on the far right-hand side. Lisa jumps across. She gets onto the wheel. You're going to see her take the dive to the left-hand side shortly. And here we go.
Tiffany goes there, but she goes, check. She didn't have the gas. She jumped straight back into the wheels. And Lisa goes on the left-hand side of the road. Yeah, the wrong way to go.
Yeah, you got to be on that inside line. And it was close at the end. I mean, that sprint to the line was like pipped by a quarter of a wheel's depth.
Yeah,
so
very, very close.
And you can imagine after racing that hard, having to sprint that hard as well. But there's a nice shot of that sweeping left-hander that they come in at the finish line. It is so fast. And you feel like a legend when you ride across that finish line, whoever you are. But I must admit, I was really happy to see Lisa Bone take the win there. The Cycle Nation team.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. Lincoln King, the team manager, he's been at it for a long time. He's won a lot of big races in South Africa. Team took a couple of hits in the last little while with some of the premier riders either retiring or moving to different teams. But he's kept things going. He's got the right formula.
And he's found
to go to race
team as well. He's found like Marzan Mellets is an amazing find. I mean, she's been incredible.
Super strong rider.
So back across to Sasha Webb. I mean,
look at that gap. That gap is big. That's 30 seconds plus. If you look in the background, that motorbike is probably right next to the front riders.
Yeah, there we go. Lisa Bone, super happy with herself, but taking the win. I'm sure she's still thinking that I really just do that. Oh my word. And she's such a pleasant young lady as well. She's always friendly to everybody. Yeah. And like I was saying,
very good advert for the sport.
yeah, I was saying this about her with, the results didn't come out for them in the early part of the season. But when she was coming into the sprint, so there was a breakaway rider. I mean, I'll talk now for the fast one. Sonica Klopper took it with a lone attack. Here's Kate Courtney and Haley Queen on that. Tamil Otto next to her. But the power she had in a sprint. And when someone's sprinting well, you can just see it. Like the ability, the connection to the bike is seamless. And that's how Lisa's been looking. And it worked out this time for her. How incredible. I'm just going to say this ride here from Sasha. There's Callum Orniston. Look at that effort there he's putting in. And Callum, he caused that split.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put
definitely.
out there.
Yeah, when he put the pressure on, decided, okay, boys, time to go. There was no one that could go with him.
Yeah. No, he was incredible. If that was an uphill finish to, I don't know, go up Signal Hill or something, I think you may have seen Callum Orniston taking the win.
Definitely.
There we go. Look at the gap he's already opened there. He closes in on Sasha Weber incredibly fast. They've whittled that bunch down. It has shattered times over. And the guys are at their limit. You can see those moves are difficult. But Ryan Gibbons, if you watch just now, you're going to see Ryan make that counter move. And again, that confidence that I thought was overconfidence was just his knowledge of what he needed to do.
Yeah.
How's this effort? Oh, this is flat out. This isn't riding comfortably or like finding a comfortable threshold pace to ride it. This is what have I got left before the lights go out? And I'll squeeze that a little bit out as well. Sasha Weber, nice response.
Yeah, very, very good. Like we were saying tonight, did Sasha go a bit sooner? Yeah, he gets over the top with the front group, which would have been one of his objectives, I imagine, attacking at the bottom. But you always have to wonder if he'd waited 2Ks later, could he have got over the top with a 30-second advantage going over the top?
I think he would have been a good player in that group of four, and I think he would have been in there looking at the way he races, the way he can read a race as well. So this is a point now where you start to see little splits occur, and then all of a sudden there's four riders off the front, and it's quite the thing to watch, because when you're watching it, you're going, well, why aren't they chasing? But like you say, every single rider in there has just been to their limit. The lights are dimming as they're riding along, trying to hang on to the wheel, and now there's a move going off on a downhill, and they're thinking, geez, I don't have anything more to push out there. And if I do, I'm going to be in trouble if a counter move happens. So you see this little
coming. I also got to think that with the split, it's going to happen to a few corners from here. There are riders that are in that chasing group that have spent the whole day sitting in the wheels, and they are only waiting to see the front in the last 100 meters. That's all that they are doing.
That's their job.
And then at this point of the race, it's stretched. Everyone's on the limit. And then soft move rolls away. Then these riders that are in the group think, well, I'm not going to close it because I'm going to save my leg for the sprint. And when you've got a group of 8 riders and 6 of the 8 are thinking the same thing, that's a recipe for that front little split to roll off the front. And I think that's exactly what happened. Yeah, the guys were trying to conserve themselves. Everyone's on the limit. I want to conserve myself for the last 150 meters. Let me see if somebody else will close the move. And then everyone was playing Russian roulette. You go, no, you go, I go, no, I want to go, and then boom.
And in the meantime, Callum's off the front, powering away. If you have Jaden Turlo, this is the first time we start to see Jaden popping out, and he's a proper class rider. If you could put a soundtrack to a rider, there's that song by Leonard Skinner called Freebird. And it's got a riff in the middle where it's like the guitar goes wild. And Jaden Turlo, every time he's won one of the trail seekers, he comes up with the little flare. There's a split, and it's just it's one of those where you think, why did you let that open? And I can bet you every single one of those guys sitting there is looking at each other going, I should have closed it. I should have closed it, because look how quickly it opens. It opens it opens because no one was willing to do that little bit of work in the beginning. Now it's got to be a big amount of work. Now it's not a little amount of work. Now it's a lot of work. And you got 4 riders off immediately settled.
And you've got if you look at the riders that are in the front there, you go, okay, Ryan's going to commit initially 100% to open the gap. Jaden, same thing. You've got a guy like Callum Ormiston, you're going, if this goes back, I'm guaranteed to not win the sprint. If it
Yeah.
stays here, I can win something. So he's going to commit 100%. Arguably the strongest man of the day. So when he's committing to it, you know, you got Ryan wanting this thing to go, Jaden wanting this thing to go, Callum wanting this thing to go. Reynard is also there. You know, man, that's dangerous. Lombard should have been going, would have been going off in the back.
But it's one of those moments that happen. And you've been in races and done it, and you've been in races and benefited from it. And if you're active and you're willing to put the work in, and it's almost a lesson for the youngsters, is someone sits up, just roll it. Don't sit up as well. And like you said, these 4 riders here, Rainer Skitter, I mean, we know how strong he is. He's got that genetic input from pulling the plow around at home. Dana Skitter, his dad, they are super strong. I was expecting more from him in the sprint at the end, but having said that, he's sprinting against guys that are flipping phenomenal. So getting a 3rd place as a 23 rider is incredible.
Sprinting against the guy who won the Ride Joburg last year, Ryan Gibbons, is good enough to be in the World Tour this year. I mean, those are some serious hitters. And what I like about, Rainer Skitter, he's really stepped up for the last couple of months. A quiet and assuming guy. He doesn't make a big noise about himself. But when it comes down to it, he's been there more times than not in the last half a year. He's really upped his game a lot.
And you can, you're talking about that cohesion in the group. Ryan, his confidence, he does his little bit of work. He says he doesn't get caught at the front doing too much work. He keeps a proper eye on things. I think he was the man in that group saying to the guys, we've got enough of a gap, keep it going, and we're going to make it. And Callum, well, geez, that man just never stops, eh? The Jackie Duron, you said that earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, he's like, this was his shot to try and get on the podium at the Cape Town Cycle Tour. If he goes back to the group and it's a sprint, I think what I'm going to say now, Callum's not going to be pissed off with me when I say that, but if it was a sprint, he's almost not going to be on the top 3. That's not for sure. At least like this, this is his best shot of a top result, so he will commit.
Well, I'm going to say a little bit of criticism for Callum is I think he was, and I call this out without any knowledge, a little bit intimidated by those riders around him coming into a sprint like that, because he took an early flyer. And I think that's what cooked his legs for that final sprint at the end. And you'll see that later on when they come in through Greenpoint. You'll see the point where he takes that flyer, tries to open up. It's Ryan who responds. And then Callum is trying to get back into a slipstream after that. And Ryan ends up on the front. And then, well, we've all seen that sprint at the finish. But the solid work going on. This is a team time trial. The 4 of them know they have to commit. They know they have to do the work. Jaden Turlo, strong as anything, not scared to do the work. He rolled through every single one of those 4 riders, rolled through every turn they needed to. I don't think there was any skipping of turns or anything being missed. And it's probably the reason why they had this good result. And keep in mind, Jeremy, the tactics going on behind. Now, Flypool Collective have got a rider in there. Nessa's got a rider in there. It's the mountain bikers, I'm going to say that, the specialized Toyota guys have got a rider in there. And
you've got Jaden there. Yeah, it's everyone's there. It's the shaker, it's the movers and shakers that are there, and the guys that be behind, it's 1s and 2s, and nobody's going to want to commit to close that gap, because then you're limiting your ability for the sprint. And the guys behind, they're all sprinters.
Yeah, the guys are all sprinters, and on top of that, they're pulling teammates of these breakaway riders along to them, which is also going to give a free ride to those guys. So they're stuck in that catch-22 scenario. This is another beautiful spot for any of the international guys. You ever ride in Cape Town the day before the Cape Town Cycle Tour? The traditional riders go from Sea Point out to Llandudno and back, maybe to Hart Bay if you feel like a little bit of a longer ride. And this will be, well, they're coming back now, but you would head out in that direction with the sea on your right-hand side. It is stunning. Rainer Skitter on the front at the moment. Like we said, how good is that guy? The SA Criterium champion. Jaden Turlo now comes through, the blue and red top. It's almost his bike.
I want to talk about, I'll often talk about Jaden Turlo when it comes to these the big one-day races. he's probably going to be one of the most consistent riders when it comes to getting on the podiums at these big ones. I'm sure the ride Joburg in the Cape Town Cycle Tour.
Yeah.
Whenever he enters, he is always a protagonist. He is always at and or near the front. He's not the kind of guy that enters a race and then he finishes 10 minutes down. For whatever reason, he gives an excuse. He's a goer. He's always in the front. Bloody good rider.
So you see here some more of the moves, the efforts to try and close it. Look how close it gets at this point. I mean, it looks like it. I thought at this point that they were, when I was watching the live stream, I'm going, oh, that's it, it's done.
So Steve, I just want to jump in here. If you look at this point, I was looking back and going, it's close. I don't know. And then he jumps across Jaden, and Jaden is under pressure. See how he kicks a gap into him?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not quite sure. I must speak to Ryan about this and see if he will give the honest answer. Did he intentionally do that to try and shake Jaden off and get a feel of how he really is? Or was he genuinely indecisive? And then just in that moment, he committed and said, you know what, I'm going to the front. Whatever happens, happens. And in that process, look how far Jaden was off there.
And
Jaden was out.
That bunch was almost back together. Sasha
Yeah,
Weber, I think it was Sasha
Close.
Weber again there. It's incredible. Look at it.
Very,
It's,
very close. And
it's all of about
And you can
150
see how-
meters there.
And you can see that in that 500-meter bubble, that was where Nerves of Steel came in. You got Rayno and Callum on the front pulling because they know this is their shot. Ryan and Jaden are playing games. I say it's playing games. Sasha Weber behind is chasing, knowing he's got to get back. And, it's from the outside, it just looks like a bike race and guys are getting dropped and pulling back. But what's really going on there, that was crunch moment of the race.
And the ASAP guys behind, the RH77 guys behind, are both desperate to close this gap. They wanted to close down. They wanted to come back together. Tyler Lange did a massive amount of work. When you watch back on the little sections, you'll see how many times he's on the front trying to close a gap, trying to do a little bit of work, pacing going, which is unusual. He's a man who knows how to hide, but he's watching the race up the road, and that's his race disappearing. This is the point now where the gap's set properly.
Look who's on the front still. Look who's pulling still. This is where the old Argus used to finish up this drag. So this is a hard part. And Callum's been pulling pretty much all the way from Cafe Caprice on Camps Bay. And he's still going hard here. He's still opening that gap. So this was his shot. He had to do this if he wanted to do, or he's trying to play for the win. This is his moment.
Yeah, he was phenomenal on the day. And like I said, I think it was a little bit of a lacking of confidence in his sprint going into that. He wanted to try the early flyer. When I say the early flyer, like 500 meters out. And maybe he would have had the legs, you don't know. I watched that sprint at stage 2, Tirreno Adriatico, and those 3 breakaway riders hammering it up the last hill, and it looked like it was going to be a clear win. And then suddenly it came back together. Then there's 2, and then Isaac Del Toro comes back into the mix as well. And by the line, sure, it was all of them next to each other. And this race was hard for these riders. I mean, this was not an easy ride.
Steve,
Properly attacking each other. There's a gap between. I mean, this is nothing.
Yeah.
This is nothing. That second little group of 3 is under 17, so we can ignore that. Just behind the motorbike is the chase group of the elite men's race. And they're going to sweep past those under 17s at the moment, or maybe it's some of the ladies from earlier. But I think gap is opening now.
From a strategic point of view, this part of the race, the road is very twisty, turny. So between Camps Bay and the Clifton houses here, it's that K and a half, 2K. It's open. You can see the break in front of you. Now it's left, right, left, right, left, right. They're saying out of sight, out of mind. You can have 10 seconds, but the chasing group can't see you. That takes the steam out of the chase. And
it's also usually quite protected as well. So you don't have that exposure to the wind anymore. And if you're willing to do the work, you're going to get the reward. You're going to get the speed. Jaden back on the front doing his bit there. You look at the cadence of every single one of these riders, the body position. There wasn't any point where they could sit up on the bars and look around and have a breather, maybe suck on a water bottle or something. Everything is committed to this one. And the gap now is opening proper. They settled down nicely. I mean, how's this background? Isn't this where you got a house as well, this area?
Me? Oof. I wish. Steve, I just think I just sort of jump in here, like with Callum in that situation that he's in. You know, if at this point he hadn't got away to get the win by himself, he should have maybe looked around and thought, okay, well, of these three riders here, who do I think I've got a better chance at beating?
Yeah.
Ryan, don't know. Jaden, don't know. But Reino Skitter, maybe he can beat him. You know, in that situation, I think it's best to follow the rider that you're pretty confident you can beat and let the other guys go, because if it's a sprint, they're going to beat you anyway if you're racing
Listen,
for a podium.
If Callum didn't work as hard as he did, would this group have stayed away?
Absolutely not.
He secured himself that fourth place. And I mean, he's been going hell for leather since about halfway up Suikerbossie. And when I say hell for leather, like a fair chunk of that was him on his own. Yeah. And any playing games, he just ignored it. He went back to the front and he kept the pressure on the pedals. By the way, they're going to go past a road here called Saunders Road. They've just passed it. So take the right turn. So Saunders Road is really cool. That's not mine, though, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, the guys take that left turn, then the right turn onto the beach road again, and they're into Sea Point now.
They past the pools. Yeah.
Past the pools. And this is where you start to see how big that gap actually got. The cohesion in the chase group, they're obviously putting in little attacks. They're trying to do something, but nothing's sticking, nothing's working. It's not bringing it together. Not in the same way. Like Callum, there he is on the front again. He is. Yeah. I hope Ryan went to him afterwards and said, thank you for bringing me to the sprint, because it's like he replaced Kent for a while with the amount of work he's done at the front there. He didn't. Yeah. You hardly see. I was just about to say, you hardly see him flicking elbows. He just sits there and does the work. Ryan was quite clever. He would do sections of work. He would keep things rolling, but never expose himself for too long. You're going to see him peel off pretty quick. There we go. He eases off.
Well, there's that World Tour experience. I mean, I know this is a very different type of race to a typical European sprint would be, where you've got 100 oaks all jostling for position. But this is kind of Milan-San Remo-esque. Small group going to finish line. It's also close. The pressure's on. Like you say, Ryan wants to go to front, keeps the pressure on, doesn't expose off, pulls off, and then next guy goes. And then in that break of four, you're going to have one or two riders that are so happy to be there, and they're going to want to pull themselves all the way to the line because this is their only shot. I think Ryan, he read that situation well. And also, he comes with experience. I mean, everyone's nerves are rattled there, but he's calm.
Yeah, he's so calm and collected. Now you're gonna see how big that gap is. They do have a little bit of time to be able to work with at this point. Callum looks back. This is the point coming up now where you're going to see this little sneaky attack by Callum, where he's going to take his chance, and you can see Callum does a long turns. The rest of them are doing pretty clever shorter turns in it, and I think this is where Callum sold himself out. He was super strong. Fourth place is amazing, but I don't think the result reflects who he is as a rider on the day, because he was incredible out there. I said man of the match earlier. I think here you can see Tyler does a little move, trying to accelerate things a little bit again. Here we go.
Over,
yeah, but it's over. It's done. I mean, all he's doing is dragging the bunch across, and they're not going to close that gap. It's too far. 3 Anchor Bay. They're going to head towards the traffic lights. Where's this attack going to happen? There's this point where Callum goes. He tries to make the move. There he's at the back at the moment. Here he goes. He drops off. And he's going to make his move to the right.
It's almost kind of similar to what Sonika Klopper did. She kind of realized, I think, I don't think I'm going to win the sprint. Let me try and get away. Yeah.
Callum puts in that big attack, gets out the saddle. But the man who could respond, the man with the power, the man with the kick, Ryan Gibbons, no problem onto the wheel. The other two actually struggling a little bit to keep up the pacing there. But I think that was Callum took the kick out of his own legs at that point. Now they're onto the sweeping right-hander, and then they're at about 300 meters to go now. Yeah,
it's close now.
It's done. And when you see Ryan kick, watch when Ryan stands up, the gap to Callum just opens. Callum can't do anything about it. Neither can anyone else really in the beginning. But it causes chaos for Jaden Turlow, because if Jaden was up on Ryan's wheel, what would that result have looked like? Here we go. The kick happens. And Jeremy, you know what that's like when you got a sprinter who can kick like that. It's massive, that gap. But Jaden
You're not
has
going to
got
catch.
some proper power. He put in a big gear. It took a while to get it rolling. Ryan looks back, a little bit cheeky again, says, yes, I've done it. And whoop, right next to him, Jaden Turlo. Reino Skitter getting third and Callum Orniston, unfortunate fourth place. They did do a podium of 5 riders in the photographs at the end, which was really nice. So he did get that acknowledgement for a phenomenal performance. And there are some more of our ladies coming in.
I think it just would have been very interesting if Jaden had chosen a different wheel in that sprint. Because when Ryan kicked, he kicked a gap quickly into Callum. Rayner also couldn't really respond to it, and Jaden had to go the long way around both of them and just ran out of road. If could have, would have, should have, the race was another 10 meters longer.
There's
result, I think, could be different.
The picture you said, like right, Joburg, it was Jaden Turlo took it from Ryan Gibbons. Now it's Ryan Gibbons taking it from Jaden Turlo.
Yeah.
And there we go, the little thank you to Callum. Yes, that man was a beast. He was a beast that last bit of the race, and he was the one. There's the ladies on the far side, by the way, and some of the men. Looks like the ladies went to go and watch the men's finish. And the rest of the guys.
Look, I think it's for every South African pro rider. I think everyone knows if you're based in South Africa, from a media coverage and a media standpoint and what it means, Cape Town Cycle Tour and the Rise Joburg are the 2 big races that you want to have, need to have, to kind of elevate your status. So you're one of the boys.
Yeah.
I think Ryan, with him saying, you know what, guys, I've had enough at the World Tour. He's resigning to focus on his professional career and more importantly, his family. I think it's a nice way for him to keep on going, to keep his legacy alive and keep relevant, and also keep they still do have a lot for the Team Fly Cool collective. They're like a bunch of guys. They've got a good community going around them. I think it's important. It's going to prove very important for them.
Yeah, a connection there as well with Lisa Bone. She rides with them often. She's part of that cycling community.
Cool.
And so the
cool kids.
The cool kids from Fly Cool Collective. There's the rest of the bunch coming in now. And they also would have been flying along, but they've lost those positions. There's another one of the Joshes. Got a couple of the ladies in the mix there. That would have been a hard day for those riders.
Yeah.
Next little bunch gallop coming in. Must have been like 3 million bunch gallops going on there. Is that Johan Trotsky? But he was like 3 or 4 wheels back on that one. Yeah, anyway, Jeremy, that was absolutely amazing. What a cool day. Another amazing race, another phenomenal showing from the South African riders. And I was quite excited to see the international riders being kept at bay. So Gauteng for the win. Gauteng. Next time, Cape Town, guys, you're going to have to up your game. Maybe
the Gauteng guys for the win. And you, I saw you picked this up on Facebook. You posted it. Road riders for the win.
These roadies and Gautengers for the win. That was brilliant. We love it. But I'm sure they're going to come back, both of them, a little bit more angry next time around. Here's I'm watching the coverage on my other screen here. You guys can't see it. But worth watching that live stream again, guys. If you got some time, sit back, grab a beer, get some of your mates and go and watch that live stream again. When you watch that sprint from overhead, it is so close at the end. But what a brilliant day. So a little high five to you, Jeremy. Once again, thank you for all the insights from your side, to all the riders out there that completed the Cape Town Cycle Tour. Jeremy's going to come and race it next year. Jeremy, I think we should go do it. What do you think? We'll do a little live stream from the bicycle.
Fun.
Cover it that way. We'll see. To Charisse, to Gerald, and Javier, well done on the commentary. To Dave Jenkins and his show, guys, go and watch what he does. It's some cool stuff he's doing. He's interviewing some great riders. And then finally to Kenton Ryan on their new podcast. That's also looking really good. We always say our skill set is in the content, not in the production. And And we're going to carry on doing that. Theirs is in production, that's for sure. It's looking phenomenal. And they're
very good.
So that's it from me. Jeremy, anything else you want to say?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, that's it. Well done
Book
to our
up end of
winners.
the week.
Yeah, Lisa Bone and Ryan Gibbons taking it. Brilliant one. Chat later, guys.
Cheers, Alex. Bye.